Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Friday, January 27th. Ian Cameron, Skee Prophet, Billy Briz, ready to break down a Friday slate with only 5 games. A very atypical, shorter NBA slate for a Friday, but still some interesting matchups. And we'll start with Milwaukee taking on Indiana. The Bucks laying a sizable number here on the road, 8-point road favorites, 240 the total in this game for Indiana. They have had their share of struggles of late. Really trace it back to the injury to Tyrese Halliburton. That's really where the downfall began. This team 1-8 straight up in their last 9 games, 2-6 against the spread during that time. So they've had trouble covering numbers. In fact, they're just 2-8 ATS in their last 10 games. Lost at Orlando on Wednesday night, 126-120. Best bet, close, but we squeaked it out with the best bet with Orlando there, laying the points against Indiana. Indiana's not a team I want my money on right now. They definitely have their issues. They have not played well since Halliburton's absence. And it's not just that. They could have 4 of their 7 leading scorers out tonight. When you factor in Miles Turner's a game-time decision, Andrew Nembhard, a game-time decision as well with the illness that kept him out of the last 2 games. So we'll have to see if any of these players suit up here for the Pacers, but could be talking a very shorthanded team here taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee, it looks like for them tonight, it should be all hands on deck. Portis has been out for a while, but I think Giannis is going to play. He's been upgraded to probable, expected to suit up. He's been in the last 2 games. He's had a little bit of a sore right knee, but looks like he's going to play through that here tonight in this game. If you look at the series history, the Bucks, have won handily over Indiana, 132-119. Just 11 days ago, the game flew over the total. And if you look back further than that, Milwaukee, they've won 9 straight against Indiana. And since October of 2021, look at the margin of victory. We've seen a 10-point win, 18-point win, 15-point win, 9-point win, and a 13-point win. So it's been Milwaukee and Milwaukee in blowout fashion. So for me, it would be Milwaukee first half full game split. Total's going up, and it's hard to say that's a bad decision, bad move, because we've seen certainly Indiana give up a lot of points lately, and it's been an over-trending series history head-to-head as well with the Bucks and the Pacers. So I could see this one maybe going over the total. It is high at 240, but I think the Bucks first half, first full game split, something along those lines. You could even look Bucks first quarter, but definitely seems like it sets up pretty well for Milwaukee. They play New Orleans, but that game isn't until Sunday, so for me, it would be a Bucks or nothing here. Skee, what do you think? Bucks, Pacers?
Yeah, I was just trying to check the injury report. Everybody's still game time decision. That was game time earlier. I'm gonna go with the Bucks first quarter. I mean, Pacers, I think, are the worst first quarter team all season long, and since Halliburton's been out, it obviously hasn't gotten any better. I think they're 1-7, so I'm not gonna overthink it. Like the comment says down there, Moises. I just got to roll with the better defense, the better offense. I don't know. No defense will be played, and especially if Miles Turner misses, they're going to get whatever they want at the rim. So I think the Bucks smash, and it starts early.
All right, like in the Bucks, but early in the first quarter specifically. All right, Billy, how about you? Milwaukee, Indiana.
Yeah, the Bucks are 5-1 ATS. Last 6 games saw an ATS loss. They dominated this head-to-head matchups, like you noted. 4-1 ATS last 5 head-to-head. Pacers have been competitive home team, but that hasn't really been the case since Halliburton's been out the lineup. And not even Halliburton, Nembhard too. He's also listed as questionable. And the Pacers' form has fallen off really bad since those 2 injuries. I mean, some of their role players have stepped up, like McConnell, Duarte, and Mathurin, but they've only got 1 win, and that was against a tired Bulls team that was just in a really bad fatigue spot. I think there's going to be some value to be had in this Bucks front court for a little bit here while we have Bobby Portis out. The only thing that would concern me here would be a potential blowout for props. I think the over 5.5 rebounds on Brook Lopez, though, is a really sharp look. I think that goes to 6.5 at plus money. If Miles Turner gets ruled out here, man, we're going to have probably like Jalen Smith and, God, or Isaiah Jackson, one of the two. Regardless, this is a really good spot for Brook Lopez. Not a lot of front court depth here for the Bucks. I mean, they're getting relatively healthy, but if there would be shallow, it would probably be in the front court. And I do like the Bucks first quarter, but the only thing that makes me a little bit hesitant about it today is that in the Pacers' last post-game press conference, they talked about an emphasis of starting off games better. And I mean, how long can you be the worst scoring team in the first quarter? That's a stat that can't happen for the whole entire year. And maybe this is the random night that they get off going in the first quarter. It's a home game, Friday night, Indiana. Some of the role players are kind of more comfortable playing these role player roles and getting a little bit more comfortable with the minutes, and maybe some of their shots start falling. Because Chris Duarte has been playing great basketball in the starting lineup. I feel like they've been playing better basketball since he's been in the starting lineup, but not enough for me to move on the Pacers plus the points here. But if we had Nembhard in the lineup and Miles Turner and the full cast of characters, I would probably lean Pacers in the points, but I'm not going to do it.
All right, Memphis, Minnesota next up. We've got the Grizzlies, 3-point road favorites, 238 the total. This has not been a pretty road trip here for Memphis. 0-4 straight up, including a heartbreaking loss at the buzzer against Golden State, 122-120. That turned into one hell of a basketball game the other night, Grizzlies and Warriors. You can tell those teams don't like each other. You can tell those teams have a playoff history head-to-head. That one got cantankerous at the end. Steph Curry, of course, gets ejected, and Grizzlies had an opportunity, but boy, they end up falling short there. Tough bounce-back spot for Memphis. It really is. After a game like that now, having to travel halfway across the country and play this Minnesota team, who I think, in theory, should always be pumped up to play Memphis after they got bounced by the Grizzlies in the playoffs last year. I kind of like the way Minnesota's playing a little bit now. They're starting to get things going. The Houston loss is still a head-scratcher. But, outside of that, here in the month of January, they're 9-4 straight up, 9-4 against the spread here in 13 games this month. They're a home dog. And it goes without saying, the Memphis Grizzlies as a team this year have just not been the same team on the road. They have a losing home road record this year, Memphis, 11-14 straight up away from Grind City. That's concerning to me. And now as road favorites in a game where Desmond Bane may not play, he's been downgraded to questionable for the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. So he may not suit up, and that's obviously would be a significant loss if that's the case. Looks like Gobert for Minnesota, game time decision. Towns still out for Minnesota. I think I like Mini here, +3. It's certainly the lean here. I'm waiting for the lineup confirmations, but I ain't laying points with Memphis on the road right now, and that 11-14 road record, that's just not going to happen. And if Bane doesn't play, it makes things even tougher on the Grizzlies. So I'm leaning Minnesota here, +3, 3.5. Skee, any thoughts here? Grizzlies, Timberwolves.
Yeah, I don't like that Bane has been downgraded to questionable, but
I hope he plays.
Yeah, I hope he plays. I still like the Grizzlies. We'll see if Gobert plays, because if he doesn't, I think that's a big, miss for Minnesota as well, because there won't be really any rim protection. Just to say off the top, with the lineup that Memphis has to go with without Steven Adams out there, I think they'll play even more up tempo. Both of them are already playing at a pretty good pace the last 5 games, and it'll be really hard for me to play an under in this matchup. As far as the side goes, I like the Grizzlies just because, they good teams or teams you expect to be good or great or whatever, they don't like to just go through a road trip losing every single game. They've already lost 4. They want to end it on a good note. And they almost had that last game. They were playing better already. It's just they let it slip at the end. So I think they build on the better effort and the better performance that they had in that last game, and they get it done versus a Minnesota team who I just don't think is that good. Obviously, if they get Rudy Gobert in, that would help. But I like the Grizzlies. If Bane is out, that helps Minnesota. But Bane in or out, I have to go with the Grizzlies here, -3.
All right, liking the Grizzlies. Again, we'll monitor Desmond Bane's status. I'll say this, if Gobert is out, by the way, if you look at all the advanced numbers and advanced statistics, it proves it as well. With Gobert out, the Timberwolves are a much, 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 much better offensive team and a much worse defensive team. But with Gobert in, they're a much worse offensive team and a much better defensive team. So keep an eye on that. I'll be more interested in the over if Gobert's out because the pace will be quicker. They're a much worse defensive team without Gobert, and they are a much better offensive team without Gobert. And it's the opposite when he's on the floor. So if there's no Gobert, that'll point me in the over direction as well, of the total being at 238. What do you think here, Billy? Grizzlies, Wolves?
I think that Desmond Bain news is really the deciding factor for me because I think they're going to be a little bit short at the wing position. John Konchar's out with a concussion right now. He usually gets he would be a type of guy that would step up in this type of role. And I kind of lean towards not Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks props over, but man, dude, motherfucker's been shooting terrible on the field. But his over 1.5 threes are at -148. And I definitely think there's some juice left on the bone there at 13.5. I think that goes to 15 if we get Bane out. But since the Grizzlies game versus the Lakers, they lost 4 straight, 1-4 ATS, last 5 games overall. They've been struggling defensively on the road this year. It's really hard to trust them as a road chalk like you were talking about. Historically, though, they played well versus the T-Wolves, 19-8 ATS, last 27 meetings head-to-head. Timberwolves are 6-2. ATS last 8 home games, 4-1 ATS last 5 games overall. It's hard to really spot when the Timberwolves team is really going to click. Their form's been really erratic. I really wouldn't want to put my money on them. The total's really high at 238.5. I think the best move here is to wait till we get the injury news and come out, and potential play on Dylan Brooks. I think the props are going to come from the Grizzlies side. We just need them to be on the book. Brandon Clark over his rebound prop total tonight would be a really good look. If we can get that out there, it'd probably be at 7.5, around like -115. And Dylan Brooks 3-point prop over 1.5, a little bit juicy at -150. But if you don't like the juice, take the points.
All right, good stuff. Next up, we've got the Orlando Magic taking on the Miami Heat. Miami 8.5 point home favorites, 219.5 the total with this matchup. Miami, of course, as of late, starting to play a little bit better. Back-to-back nice home wins against the Pelicans and the Celtics. 196 over New Orleans, 98-95 win over Boston. Obviously picking up their game, even though there's still, always, it seems, injury question marks every game with Miami. More of the same here tonight, although it looks like Max Strus is the main cog that's questionable. Actually, he's been upgraded to probable. He's good to go, Max Strus. Other than that, it's really Duncan Robinson out. Everybody else looks like they're good to go pretty much here tonight. Lowry, Hero, Martin, Butler, and Bam expected to be the starting 5 here tonight for the Miami Heat in this game. Orlando, they have been one of the better point spread teams in the NBA this year. 27-20 ATS. Obviously the team we're about to talk about in the next game is the best team, but you've been making money consistently with Orlando. Just in the last 7 games alone, they're 6-1 ATS the last 7. Even the losses have been competitive. Outside of the Washington game was a bad game for them. They got blown out and lost by 20 in that one. But outside of that, this has been a team that's been right there in every game. They have wins against Indiana, Boston, New Orleans, Portland, Golden State as well during this span. And the losses were, for the most part, close competitive defeats. At Utah, lost by 4. At Denver, lost by 3. I know Miami's playing pretty well, but you can't argue the fact that just from a value perspective, the value's been with Orlando consistently here. I like the idea of catching this kind of number with them in this game. So I like Orlando here, 8.5 road underdogs. Skee, what do you think here? Magic, Heat. Up, you're muted.
Yeah, my bad on that. I just think the pace that Miami's playing at the last 5 games, bottom 5, and combined with, neither team is really a good 3-point shooting team. I wanted to look towards the under here. I had a couple of systems that, that both lean me towards the under. So that's the way I'll go. I'm not going to explain the systems out, but it's pretty much a system play. And also Miami's a top 5 defensive rated team the last 5 games. And Orlando is top 5 defending at 3. So see a lot more defense, slower pace game. Orlando also plays tomorrow. We've seen those road teams with a game the following day have been going under this year. So I'm playing the under.
All right, there we go. Like an under the total here, sitting at 219 and a half, pretty much across the board. Billy, what about you here? Magic Heat.
Skee's interesting me here, man. You know, when Skee pulls out the system plays, man, them shits be cashing at least at like a 70% hit rate or over, man. Those system plays, it'd be the most random system play, but that should be cashing, man. The Magic can play ball historically on the road. Historically in Miami, they're 6-2 in their last 8 meetings. In Miami, and 6-2 ATS last 8 meetings head to head. Magic have played well on the road, 8-3 ATS last 11 road games, 18-6 ATS last 424 overall. I mean, the Heat teams get more healthy. They're 6-2 last 8 home games. A lot of 6-2s in these trends. I like the Magic with the points though, but this isn't the most comfortable spot. First half of it back to back. I probably would just take all my Magic love and put the money on the under and walk away from the ticket window.
All right, excellent. Next up, we've got Oklahoma City hosting Cleveland. OKC 1.5 point home favorites, 221 the total in this game. Thunder, like Orlando, the team we just talked about, team that has been pretty good to me lately in terms of cashing tickets. The last game was not the case, though. They lost 137-132 to the Atlanta Hawks in that game. They do have a significant injury that's worth noting, and that's Lou Dort for the Thunder, who gives them, some offense and some rebounding, but also a plus defender for this Thunder team. He is out with a right hamstring injury, so that is definitely significant. He's been very durable, too. Hasn't missed much time, but ended up getting hurt in the Atlanta game and will be missing this one. And certainly that's going to hurt the Oklahoma City Thunder a little bit in terms of the defensive side of it. Cleveland, on the other side, they're coming off a road win at Houston, 113-95. Still overall for the season, this has been one of the sharpest home road split teams in the entire NBA. 20-5 at home, 10-15 on the road. So, I still am in the Thunder or nothing. I still don't want to go against this team right now, the way they've been playing. It does concern me. Dort being out is a significant loss. It is, because of what he can give you at both ends of the floor. But other than that, looks like everybody else good to go. Pokusevski's out. Does concern me. How are they going to handle, Mobley and Allen down low? On the Cleveland side of the fence, Donovan Mitchell downgraded to doubtful here with a groin injury. So that also helps to explain why there's been a flip of favorites here. Cleveland open a road favorite, and now OKC home favorites. I would still only look Thunder here in this game.
Does Mike Muscala start tonight against the Twin Towers?
Yeah, that's a good question. That very well might be the case with Pokusevski. See, that's the one issue that concerns me here is there's the front court dominance of Cleveland could really have their way here with Oklahoma City. So, it does concern me in that regard. Who are you going to put there, though? Muscala, Baisley? I mean, where do you go? Essentially at the 5 spot here. Kenridge, no, he's definitely not. He's definitely not going to hold up against those two guys. So, your options are limited here. If you're Dagno here, the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, I still don't want to go against the Thunder right now. Like they've been undervalued. I know they finally slipped up against Atlanta, but Cleveland's been more than faulty on the road that it's plausible the Thunder could beat them here at home. So I still lean Thunder in this game. Skee, what do you think here? Cavs, Thunder.
Yeah, don't be surprised. I mean, don't be surprised if one of the big men sit for the Cavs. I mean, they did play yesterday, and they're probably looking at this game and just saying, "Oh, we can go out there and win. We don't even need everybody to play."
They'd be wrong to think that.
Exactly.
K Love's already out. They got K Love, Mitchell, and who was the third one? Somebody else is out too. So their front court depth is very thin right now. They would only have 3 to 4 active bodies if you count Cedi Osman as a power forward.
Hey, I'm just saying, you've been around for the NBA this year. Don't be surprised. We still got a couple hours till the game starts. If you see one of these guys as a late scratch.
Last minute shenanigans with injury info never happens in this league.
and like you mentioned, Ian, the Thunder have been playing good basketball, so it's really hard to go against that. The home road splits, you mentioned it. Thunder are 14-10, I think, straight up at home, and 15-9 against the spread. Cavs are 9-15 straight up on the road. So pretty much, night and day. I like the Thunder. I think they're favorites for a reason in this game, or at least they turn to favorites for a reason. home favorites with the rest advantage, although they're a short home favorite, win above 70% of the time. I like the Thunder today.
Liking the Oklahoma City Thunder, the best ATS point spread team in the NBA this season, 30-16 against the spread this year, 30-18 rather. ATS, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they have been definitely a surprise. Them and Sacramento, two of the surprise teams here in the NBA. This especially, point spread wise, surprise Oklahoma City. They're straight up record still, right around 500, but certainly ATS, they have been undervalued all season long. What do you think here, Billy Briz, Cleveland, OKC?
I want to bet the Thunder so bad here in this spot. Really good home team, 4-1 ATS last 5 home games, 8-1 ATS last 10 overall. Cavs aren't really that good of a road team, 5-13-2 ATS last 20 road games. We also got the narrative, Darius Garland coming off the birthday narrative. I mean, maybe they weren't partying, but I was 23 years old one time before too. There's definitely some weed smoking going on, and a couple drinks went flowing, and a couple ladies in the night definitely came in through the hotel last night. I mean, this would be the spot to fade the Cavs here. My only hesitancy is the starting fucking lineup, dude. I mean, I get it, Shea, Josh, good, but the Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams, and Kenrick Williams front court lineup is not about to get it done against the Cavs here. I mean, Sengun last night, I watched way too much Rockets basketball last night, and Sengun was absolutely memorable. He was throwing behind the back passes. He got dunked on by Jared Allen in the first play of the game and turned up ever since. And man, they still got blown out off the floor, and they just had nothing down low for the Twin Towers. And I just don't see the front court of the Thunder being able to compete with the Twin Towers, and their usage is going to go up with Donovan Mitchell. Without Donovan Mitchell on the floor, Evan Mobley has gone over his point prop 6 out of his last 7 games. So there's a big emphasis of him getting the ball. When you put Isaac Okoro in the lineup, he doesn't take up any of that usage. So when you take out Donovan Mitchell and you put in Isaac Okoro, I mean, that usage is going to go to the star players like Garland, LeVert, Mobley, Allen. All didn't really play extensive minutes last night. I mean, I think this is a Vegas trap spot. I think the Cavs win this ball game, but the money's going to come in on the Thunder, and the bet should be on the Thunder. But I think the Cavs win this ball game.
Right, good stuff. All right, next up, final game, Toronto, Golden State. We've got the Warriors, 5-point home favorites, 235 the total in this one. The Warriors were involved in a thrilling game down to the wire against Memphis Wednesday night, 122-120. I am a little concerned about this coming off that game for Golden State in that they went on the road for 5 games earlier this month. They come back home following that road trip, tough spot. They lost outright as favorites to Brooklyn, but it was a hotly contested game. They led, and Brooklyn came back. Kyrie Irving was nuts in that game, going off and led the Brooklyn Nets back for a victory there. And then they played Memphis. It was a war. It was intense. It was obviously a lot of playoff history with the Grizzlies and the Warriors as well. And now coming off a game like that can be, a little tricky to really rev yourself up all over again to play just another, a couple of days later here. So it's not the greatest Golden State spot. But what do we make of Toronto? Because we know Toronto, if they play the way they have largely most of the season, they could get absolutely blown out here tonight by this Golden State team. But they're coming off a stunning win against Sacramento. The fact that they not only went into Sacramento and blew them out, but also held them to, I think, their season low in points. It's like, where has that been from the Raptors? 113-95 on Wednesday night. It was a stunning performance. It was not something that a lot of people would have expected. They've actually covered 3 in a row. They almost beat Boston at home. So maybe they're undervalued. Maybe now with the trade rumors rumbling and picking up, that they want to show, management that trying to strengthen their trade value, and play well going into the deadline. I don't know what it is, but the Raptors have been better here in these last few games. When you look at the win against New York, the win against Sacramento, they nearly beat Boston as well last weekend, and they've covered 3 straight. So it's not the greatest spot for Golden State. So I could see the reason maybe you could like Toronto here, and it has been bet down 5.5 to 5, but I don't know what you're going to get. I do lean Raptors based on the spot. I don't know if I have the confidence to pull the trigger on it. What do you think here, Skee? Raptors, Warriors?
It is the last game, but it's a backwood.
Yeah, it looks too inviting to take Golden State here. Only laying 5. Toronto's been largely disappointed, but again, Toronto's picked it up the last few games. Golden State's off that just crazy game with Memphis, and I worry about them bringing it for 48 minutes tonight. Honestly, coming off a game like that, what do you think here in this one, Billy Briz? Toronto, Golden State.
Yeah, like you touched on, Warriors coming off an emotional win versus the Grizzlies in their last game, but they're still 0-5 ATS, last 5 home games. Warriors play a lot better at home, 18-6 record this season. And I think the big X factor for me in this one is going to be Jordan Poole. He should be a huge X factor in this one. Their first matchup, Jordan Poole had a career high 43 points, and over his last 5 games, Poole has averaged 25 points, 3.8 3-pointers per game. And with Poole coming off that recent game-winning shot, you should have some confidence rolling into this one. And I don't see how the Raptors might not let him score a career-high 43, but if Jordan Poole's contributing off the bench for the Warriors team, that's when the Warriors look the best. And we're going to have Steph Curry coming in here highly motivated off of that technical foul, throwing out ejection. We're back in Golden State on Friday nights, Dub Nation. Let's go.
All right, there we go. Liking Golden State. No hangover, says Billy Briz here after that Memphis game. Liking them to get the job done. All right, great stuff. That's the Friday card. Hit the like button. If you're watching, come on. 198 live viewers. Hit the like button. It's our last NBA Pub-Up show of the week. So make sure you show the love and hit the like button. Remember, become a Pub Sports Radio YouTube channel member. $4.99 a month for that. Pub-A-Palooza 2 is coming up in a couple months, final weekend of March, 24th to 26th. It's going to be a lot of fun. Par 3 golf tournament, poker tournament. We're going to watch the NCAA tournament at Southtown 101, UFC San Antonio, Saturday night, Retama Horse Track. We resuscitated that operation financially last year when we were there, and we'll do so again in a couple of months when we're back there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Pub-A-Palooza 2, San Antonio in a couple of months. All right, best bets coming up right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, when you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Southtown 101, and manscaped.com. Promo code PubSports, 20% off your purchase. A Lawnmower 4.0 or any Manscaped product, 20% off, free shipping with promo code PubSports. By the way, programming note, there is no college basketball net profit today at 5 p.m. No show. It's been canceled today. So no show today at 5 p.m. because Cabby won't be able to be on it. But we will be with you tomorrow on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, college basketball pub up, me, Connor Mack, and Dabby Cab, and we'll get you ready for the big Saturday card. If you want breakdown and analysis of the Friday college basketball card, go back and watch Betting with the Bag this morning. I was with Jimmy the Bag. We broke down the entire card for college basketball. So check that out if you haven't done so already. All right, best bets for this Friday. Skee, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
I'm gonna go with the Thunder on the money line. I think it's like minus 120, minus 125. But I think they're favorites for a reason. They're close to 60%, if not 60%, straight up at home so far this season. And the Cavs are the opposite. So give me the Thunder to win the game tonight.
There we go. A frequent best bet contributor for me on this show lately, the Thunder, and Skee is rocking with them tonight, Oklahoma City, to get it done against Cleveland for his best bet. Billy, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah, all my best bets tonight are going to come in this Golden State game. We're taking Golden State -5. And then prop wise, favorite prop of the day is going to be Chris Boucher over 11.5 points and rebounds. He's been over 3 out of his last 3 games versus the Golden State Warriors. His last 2 matchups against Sabonis in New York, he's gotten more minutes. And we're going to, I don't like to use the word sprinkle, but we got to sprinkle it here, man. Chris Boucher, double-double, 12-1 odds tonight, baby.
All right, there you go. It's funny you mentioned Chris Boucher props here for the Raptors. Of course, he's from Quebec, French part of Canada, and the Raptors analyst Jack Armstrong. He's got this catchphrase, "Hello, hello," when it's a big dunk. He does it in French when Boucher makes a big dunk or a big defensive play. He goes "Bonjour," and it's just absolutely hilarious. So hopefully you hear a lot of that from him on the Raptors.
He's gonna smash tonight.
Having a good night. Yeah.
14 rebounds last time he played against Golden State. Good matchup for him.
Yeah, so hopefully a lot of bonjour when Chris Boucher's out on the court tonight, making a lot of plays happen. So definitely liking Chris Boucher props in that game, but also liking Golden State -5 against Toronto for Billy Briz with his best bets. My best bet, look, they cashed a best bet for me the last show I was on Wednesday. The Magic laying the points against the Pacers. We're going to go back to them tonight. Against the Miami Heat. Orlando +8.5 against Miami. Undervalued. Miami's had a hard time winning by margin. They've played a lot better. They've been winning games. Now you're asking this team to win by almost double digits. I'm not so sure about that against an Orlando team that has been good in the road dog roll. Orlando +8.5 against Miami for me for best bet on this Friday card. That'll wrap it up. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it. And a reminder, again, we'll be back next week for another week of the NBA Pub Up. We've got lots coming up on the channel this weekend as well, including the Conference Championship live betcasts, NFL Pub Up on Sunday at noon Eastern. And then, of course, the live betcast streams of both Conference Championship games. 49ers, Eagles, NFC Championship, 3 p.m. Eastern, and then Chiefs, Bengals, 6:30 p.m. Eastern in the AFC Championship game. We'll have both of those games live betcasts here on Pub Sports Radio, so make sure you tune in for that. Great stuff for Billy Briz and Skee Profit. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games, and good luck. We will see you again Monday for a brand new week of the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio.